the next 10 years are going to be the most uncertain period of time for businesses they have ever seen. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but the way AI is changing our world and the sands are shifting, it is very difficult to think about what does the next 5 or 10 years look like in business, because you have no idea what the world will look like in 2 years' time. It's only been a couple of years that AI has been kind of out, and it's already a very different world. 2-3 years ago, I had 12 copywriters. I now have 1. 2-3 years ago, I would never have used ChatGPT and Gemini to help me put stuff together. Now I use them every single day. So we have no idea where this world's going and the way it's going to unfold. And, I'm not talking about, Terminators and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about, how do you see the future of where your business is going when you can't quite work out where the world's going and the way markets are going? And so it feels like we're in this limbo of not quite knowing where the world's going. And this is important because most businesses are now using online efforts to get clients. I teach people and help people use online efforts to get clients. And so when you can't see how the world's unfolding, that creates threats and opportunities. For an example, threats. Because a lot of the time to actually get clients, you are entering platforms you do not control, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagrams, your YouTube. You don't control those. You are entering into somebody else's ecosystem to help build your own. And you have no idea what's going to change about those. We're already seeing that nearly 50% of all the content you're seeing is AI. And so do you have to play that game? Is there a way to not play that game? Will algorithms shift? Will people still use social media in the same way? All of these things are kind of up in the air. And for me, navigating that, I have to think about, how do I chart a course through all this unwritten future? And I don't think it's obvious to anybody how that's going to play out, because there are what we call unintended consequences. Unintended consequences are things like, okay, so social media comes along, connects us all with the world, but people are more lonely. Social media comes along and allows us to share our ideas with the world, but it also stirs up hate and bullying and polarization. So there's all of these unintended consequences that people haven't conceived of, thought through, might not be talking about coming. So I've been thinking about, how do you get through all of this? And I've thought about 2 really big ideas, and they're informing my thinking for the next few years. What's the other way? The second one is micro-monopolies. Micro-monopolies, right? So I'm going to explain what I mean by those 2. So the other way is, what if the world is going this way, there will be equal and more interesting opportunities in the place where people are running from. So if people are running towards AI, if people are running to AI is going to do everything and everything and everything, what's the ultra-human opportunities? Where's the bit that AI cannot do? Because undoubtedly, that's where real expertise and value will hold. If AI is making things uncertain, and we can't predict over there, we can predict that certain things over the other side will become more valuable. So where's the value going to be in ultra-human? And we can kind of predict where they are. It's in the complexity, it's in the nuance, it's in specialization. And so my thinking is shifting to the other way. If content is becoming more competitive, if there's a lot more noise, how do we do it in a different way? So I'm constantly now thinking about, if everything's going that way, if trends and trajectories are going that way, what's the opportunity the other way? And there's quite a good historical basis for this, in terms of, if you look at things like when lockdowns happened, people craved to go and meet with people. When ebooks became a thing, actually, yes, mainstream book buying, book printing, book publishing went down, but actually there's still a ton of opportunity in publishing books and people buying physical books. When the internet came out and there was this whole rage of, buying goods and globalization and cheaper consumer stuff, artisan handmade stuff also became a thing. So there is this weird thing that when the world goes one way, an opportunity opens up for something in the opposite direction. So that's something I'm embracing, and it's something I'm thinking through. Firstly, the other way concept, but then looking for the ultra human, ultra premium areas that all of this stuff is harder to find where the bits are, the opportunities, because you're not sure what's going to happen. So that's the first one. And then the second one is the micro-monopolies. Now, this is a concept by Peter Thiel. I've done a podcast about it today, but it is the essence of owning a very small piece of the internet that you can dominate is probably more profitable today or in the future than trying to go big and bold and, large scale. And it's almost the counter argument again. It's the other way of, instead of trying to, have big, broad fame, you have narrow, super focused. And there's a lot of money in that area of going, actually, you're very, very well known in a little ecosystem. And so if you think about what social media platforms have done, they've built these big, huge ecosystems that they own. Well, actually, the opportunity is to create small ecosystems, niche ecosystems, micro monopolies that you absolutely own. And it makes you defensible from competition, defensible against AI. It makes your offer unique, and it gives you and commands you premium pricing. So I am thinking about those old two things in my business. And when I look at my business and go, how many customers or clients do I need to actually hit my revenue targets next year? And it's not many. It's a few hundred people to hit my targets. So I don't need tens of thousands of people to engage with me and follow me on social media. I just need the right few hundred to buy into me. And I think this thinking about social media is, how do I get the right few hundred people bought into me and build my ecosystem is the way to go. So if you're sat in this and you're following my ramblings and thinking, how do I future-proof what I'm doing and what I'm building so that I'm not having to reinvent myself in a very short notice because the pace of innovation is so fast? It's looking for the other way and building that micro monopoly. And that's what I'm doing. I'm reassessing where I sit in the marketplace, what I want to be known for, not because I think, oh, there's an immediate threat, but because I can't see what the 5-year future looks like, because we have no idea what's going to happen with AI, what's going to happen with social media, how that's going to realign, and what are going to be the unintended consequences of that. So if you're sat here also going through that kind of uncertainty kind of debate or ponderance, look for the other way. So the other way is the opposite. Where's the opportunity that people are running from? So if they're running to AI, what's the opportunity in the human? Because that's easier to predict. Number one. Number two, how do I build a micro monopoly in that space? How do I build a micro monopoly there? Something that I can own and is defensible both from AI and competition. And that's really what I'm thinking about doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm focused on. And that's going to be a huge dramatic shift for me because, for the past, at least 9 years, I've been talking about LinkedIn social selling. And that's not going to go away, but I am having to think about where's my defensible position for the next 5, 10 years. And, social media is always going to be a part of it, but I'm going to be further removed from it. That's the tool. It's not my message. That's the tool, but it's not the outcome. And that's where I'm focused. So hopefully my rambling and my thought process is helpful to you. And there's one thought I want to leave with you. Yeah. All sales, at least for the next 10 years, all sales of any high value sale is going to be a human to a human. Low ticket, $500, $100, $47, all of that stuff is in flux. But if you're selling something for $5,000 or more, it's going to be a human talking to a human. That's not going to change, at least right for the next 10 years. So if you're focused on selling at that level, it's still human to human, which is more predictable, more like today. That means your success on any platform will not be impressions, will not be likes, will not be followers. It will be your ability to have a conversation with the right people. And so that gives me hope that all of us are only one conversation away from winning a client if we stay in that high ticket premium end of the market.